Hey everyone, my name's Nick, and I'm glad you're here today. I don't know about you, but I love a good party, so I'm always glad when somebody invites me to join one. I'll never forget when a friend of mine invited me to my first country concert. Well, technically his older sister invited both of us because she was the one that could drive. I was never really a big fan of country music. Anyways, we all got in the car and headed to this outdoor venue in the middle of the summer to see this legendary group called Rascal Flatts. Not only did I not like country, but I saw the biggest name in country at the time. Anyways, the concert was kind of a blur because honestly, it was amazing. The live band, the vocals, the lights, the stage that flew the lead singer to the back of the amphitheater, all of that from one simple invitation from my friend's sister to go and see these people at a concert. Pretty simple and pretty encouraging. Maybe someone invited you today. Maybe the invitation even surprised you. You might not have been sure that you would be welcomed, included, or accepted at church, so when somebody invited you to come and be a part this week, you were definitely a little surprised. I think that we can all relate to this. We've all been surprised to be invited to be a part of something before. Maybe we made a team when we didn't expect to, or we got accepted into a club we had to apply for, or we felt like we were in a friend group with people who were way more popular than us. Being invited or included probably made you wonder, how'd I even get here? Well, if you've ever had that thought, you actually have a lot in common with many of the people who celebrated the very first Christmas thousands of years ago. Let's go back, like way back to the very first Christmas. For thousands of years, the people of Israel were waiting for their Messiah. They were waiting on their Savior. He was the one God had promised would come and change everything for them, the one who would save them from their sin. As they waited and waited, a lot of people had ideas about what would happen. More than that, they had ideas about who would actually get to hang out with or be close to the Savior of the world. They had a lot of thoughts about who would be invited or welcomed. Of course, everything about how the Savior actually arrived in the world was surprising. Most people thought he would only hang out with religious leaders or kings or people with a lot of power. But here's what actually happened. There were shepherds living out in a field nearby, keeping watch over the flock at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, the glory of God shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all of the people." The first people who were invited to see Jesus, the Savior, when he was born were shepherds. Now, if you were here last week, you already know that this was surprising. You might not live in a place where there are a lot of sheep now, but back then, shepherds weren't the most well-known or most well-respected people. They weren't rich, they weren't powerful, they weren't religious. They weren't the people anyone thought would be invited or included to meet the Savior. And that's what is so shocking, that an angel not only showed up and announced to them the news, but invited them to go see Jesus for themselves. I have no way of knowing for sure why God chose to let them know first, but I do know God does everything on purpose. I can't help but think God was making a point about what kind of people were invited into the life of Jesus, because this was the good news. Great joy for all people, for everyone. No one is excluded. And here's why I'm interrupting that to talk about this, because I want you to know that you're invited too. Yes, you're invited. Not just to come to church each week, but to be included in the family of God, to be a part of the story God is writing in this world, to follow and live and love Jesus every day. Being at church doesn't mean you have to act a certain way, or believe that everyone else believes, or do anything specific to belong. The real you, just the way you are, is invited and included. In fact, I hope you'll continue to show up after this and beyond, because the leaders at Hope would love to have you here each and every week. And I hope that you'll come and see it for yourself.